Okay. All right, so in this one, we're factoring. We got four terms. Four terms always means first two, last two. First two, so I'm going to do first two, last two when I factor. Okay, so what do the first two have in common? Do you see that they have w squared? Not just w, right? But w squared. So whenever they have the same letter, we take out the lower power because that's what they have in common. What goes on the inside? Well, w squared times w and w squared times 1. Remember, when letters multiply, the powers add, don't they? The powers add. Tracking with me? So w squared times w will go back to w because there's an invisible 1 power really on this w, isn't there? Whenever a letter doesn't have a power showing, it's really an invisible 1 power because there's one of them. And so w squared times w, the 1 goes back to w cubed. W squared times 1 is 1w squared. All right, then the back two, what do they share? They share a 4. Now let me make this problem more interesting. I'm always wanting to do. What if instead this was a minus 4w and a minus 4? How would I factor them? I would take out minus 4, right? They still have a 4 in common. They both have 4, but remember, whatever sign is on the leader, that's what you take out to the front of that group. If there's a negative sign, if you're factoring two things and the leader has a negative sign, take out a negative. In fact, let me make this problem a lot more interesting. Sorry, I just keep fooling with it, don't I? Let's make this a plus and this a minus. Yeah. And then this will be minus. Okay, and I'll still, yeah, so this is the version I actually want. This is the most tricky version for people. Let me show this version. I'm still, this is a minus. I'm still going to take out a minus because the front, for these two, this, first two, last two. So for these last two, the front is a negative. I'm taking out now. What will that do on the inside? Well, whatever works. So negative 4 times what? Well, w. And negative 4 times what will go back to positive 4? Negative 1. Everybody see that? Right? Negative 4 times negative 1 goes back to positive 4, doesn't it? And it matches. It's got to match. It's got to match or we can't go forward. That's the other thing you can look for. It's got to match. It's got to match. Why? Because we can't stop here. Why can't we stop here? Right? Everybody know? Right here. Cannot stop. That's not how you spell cannot. You cannot stop because we have a negative outside of parentheses. Remember, whenever you have a plus or minus outside of parentheses, you're not done. You're only done when all the adding, subtracting is contained in parentheses. So these two, what do they both share in common? W minus 1. Right? Remove it, put it in the front. What's left? W squared minus 4. Do you see that on this one? Like that. Is that good? Now, on this one, if you had w squared, everybody see where I'm at on this one? We actually would have to do another step. This is a really tricky one. I probably made a more difficult one than you're going to actually get. What do I mean? Like, what do you mean you got to do more? All the pluses and minuses are contained. Didn't I say that's what you got to do? And they are. So what's the problem? Anybody see it? Well, what more needs to be done? This guy. We factored ones like this in the last one. How do I even know to look there? Higher power. When you're looking at a higher power, so this guy, I don't even think about this guy. He's just first regular W first power. He's done. Don't even bother with him. But this guy, he's like, hey, I might go further. I might go further. Well, how do we know? Does he go further? He does. Remember the last section? Remember what we did with these? We did multiply, multiply. W times W makes W squared. Front times front makes front. Remember these? 2 times 2 makes 4. This is the last homework. 1 plus, 1 minus. Should I positive 2 times negative 2 makes negative 4? Sorry. All right, we good? We seeing that? No? Thank you. So let me go back here again. W squared minus 4 can go further because it's W times W and 2 times 2. Front times front to make front. Remember these from the last section? And last times last to make last. 1 positive, 1 negative. Positive 2 times negative 2 is negative 4, huh? So this guy break, and now we're done. How do you know? Well, these are all just W to the first power. I don't even need to think about that. Now, let me change the game a little bit. I'm trying to give you all the different varieties you might see. Probably on yours, it'll be more like this. You'll have W minus 1 and like W squared plus 4. If the original signs had all been plus, you know, then you would have, or something like that. Maybe you'll get to here. Now, can I break down W squared plus 4? No, actually. And it's an important thing to know. This is the kind of thing that'll give you trouble on this exam if you're not real clear on it. Let me help you become clear. Well, you think, well, yeah, no, it's just W minus 1, and then it's the same thing, Mr. Hearn, it's just both plus. Yeah, it's not, and that won't work. It looks so good at first, and that's completely wrong. Let me show you why it's wrong. First off, do you see how easy it is to be deceived by that? That looks so good, doesn't it? I mean, that's right. Front times front is front. W times W, 2 times 2 is 4, plus. No, there's more to the story. I know over here we kind of keep the story simple. Let me prove it to you. Well, let me prove to you that W plus 2 times W plus 2 is not W squared plus 4. How do we check it? You know what to do, right? First to both, W squared plus 2W. Second to both, plus 2W plus 4. You see what we get in the middle? 4W. It's not just W squared plus 4, is it? You think, well, why'd you do it over here? Because it's true over here. What do I mean it's true? Let's check it. So W plus 2, switching on me. W plus 2, W minus 2. If we check it over here, first to both, W squared minus 2W, second to both, plus 2W minus 4. See, these cancel in the middle. And it is W squared minus 4. It is correct. You see that? So that also, my point is, when you're doing the two terms with the multiply, it only works for minus. It only works for minus. Let that sink in deeply. It only works for minus. Why? Because you got to have 1 plus and 1 minus, and then they cancel in the middle, and you just end up with the two terms. If you have plus, what am I saying you should do? You're just done right here. You can't go any further. This isn't true. You're just done. If you have W squared plus 4, stop. That's it. You're done. It can't go any further. It looks like it's W plus 2, W plus 2 twice, you know, but it's not. Because that would give you a 4W in the middle. That's not the same thing. Does everybody see that? So the way I say it, tell people remember it, is a double added cannot be done. I like In-N-Out Burger, so I call it a double, right? That's what these guys are. W squared is W times W, and 4 is 2 times 2. But it's really a double. You see what I mean? This is also W squared and 4, WW, 2, 2. It's a double. Well, double added cannot be done. But double subtracted, you can do another step. So this would just be the answer right here. If you have the double added, stop. It's just, boom, you're done. Oh, wait, what did I do? Did I just do the wrong thing? Yeah, no, that was right. Yeah, this would just be the answer right here. You just leave it W squared plus 4. With the W, you have the W minus 1 on the front. W squared plus 4 on the back. Just leave it. It can't break down further. Right? It's done. All the pluses and minuses are contained. And the double added cannot break down further. The double subtracted can. So there we go.